Welcome back to Digi Bros, everybody.
What's going on? We're back.
This is gonna be the last episode of the Wind Waker.
Supposedly.
Victor's tired and it's hot, as usual for the end of a play session. Usually when we end Zelda.
I don't know why it becomes 10 degrees hotter every time we finish a fucking game.
It really does. Considering it's December 26th and the heat's not even on.
Digi Bros,
pretty sad.
I forgot how to actually talk about anything besides answer questions.
Yeah.
I feel like
we're definitely, I think
we gotta take a break from the Q&A.
Yeah, when we start up Bloodborne, we're gonna spend like at least 10 episodes before we start doing Q&A again.
It's getting boring to me.
I enjoyed that we did so much of it in this. I think our answers were always good, but it's and I mean the reason for it was we weren't doing anything with our lives throughout most of that.
But now
period.
I feel like there's a bunch of stuff that we've done that we probably haven't talked about, or at least that I've done.
Yeah, just in like the
and
last
I don't know how to talk about
weeks.
it anymore.
Yeah, when we do Bloodborne, we're gonna try to go back to normal for a while. I mean, we'll save all the questions that we haven't answered, and we'll do them later, you know. But don't worry, your question will eventually, possibly be answered. But for now, we're gonna get back to this wall of Devu questions, so that we don't end up in the same situation as last time, where I wrote them all down poorly and forgot what they meant by the time we answered them. Least favorite thing about your house. Least favorite thing about my house.
It might be that I share a bathroom with Shade.
That's pretty
I've been thinking about that recently, and I'm just like, wow, it would be fucking awesome to have my own bathroom. And the fact that it's just like right around everyone, where it's like if I'm taking shit, everyone knows.
Right.
And it's tedious.
The ventilation, I mean, we've mostly fixed it, but like
it's never right in my room. It's always too hot or too cold for some reason, while the rest of the house is just fine.
The biggest problems that our house has with like its construction are that it's a really old house that had a lot of stuff added onto it, and the add-ons were not done very like.
I forgot there were two final bosses here, and that this boss is fucking just
hard.
The hardest fucking boss like imaginable. It was a cool boss though. I forgot all about it. Yeah,
I forgot too until you entered that room and I saw that purple floor.
Oh, this is gonna be tough.
Anyway, yeah, I think like because our house is old. I think it was built in like probably the 70s or something, and then like a lot of shit. Like my entire room was built later. Like it's a finished room over the garage that was probably built in like the 90s or 2000s, and then in fact, I'm not even sure if the whole den was like the way it was back then. I think it was like built onto and extended. So there's like a bunch of additional stuff, and like the way that they built around the old house to add in elements, it just seems like it was not like well thought out all the time. Like the layout is a little weird. The vents are very weird. There's like 3 air vents in the kitchen for some reason. So when you have the heat on, the kitchen's always really hot, and like the rest of the house can be like random temperatures. My room gets super hot. You know, we had to reduce the airflow to here finally and make that better. It's just like a weirdly structured house. I hate that my bathroom is like I like that it's in my room, but I wish there was like a little bit of hallway to it so that you wouldn't like smell when someone's just taking a shit and blowing it up.
Turn on that vent, dog.
Well, when you turn on the vent, then it smells in the hallway leading up to my room for some reason. Like it expels it out there or something. I've told you this before. You always react the same way.
That's so unbelievable. This fucking dude's face, just the ugliest thing imaginable.
Yeah, I guess those are the biggest issues with our house. We've modified our house a lot. I'd say that my biggest problems with the modifications we've made to the house are that, like, okay, in the den, the main lights are in the middle of the ceiling, right? There's like 2 lights in the ceiling.
Whoa.
Suddenly sound coming out of that thing. There's 2 lights in the ceiling, and the way that we've laid out the room is that if you're looking at the TV, which is up, like really high up, you are definitely going to see those lights in your peripheral vision, and that shit just gives me a headache. That's why I can't stand to like watch TV down there at night. And my parents watch TV really loud anyway, so it's already kind of headache inducing because they're both fucking deaf. But like, like being down there and like having all that light, and there's also just a lot of visual information in the den because we've had it painted to look like a castle and everything. Like, it's a little overwhelming to be down there watching this like 70-inch massive TV with bright ass lights in the ceiling and like tons of detail everywhere, it's a bit much. I think I actually like. I kind of like how dim my room is, because even though like I think it should probably be brighter, like it makes it so I can have so much shit on my walls and it's not distracting.
Yes.
Like I think the amount of color in here would really grate on me if it was brighter.
Perhaps.
Anyway, do you agree that
This is a
scanning
nightmare.
and printing is super cool? Doesn't it suck that there's no reason to do it anymore? I
Not really.
do not agree. I always thought it was a huge pain in the ass my whole life, so
Yeah.
not with you on that.
Printer ink is way too expensive. So
Yeah.
fuck that. And I still have to use a printer all the fucking time, so
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
Scanning like looks cool, but it's fucking it sucks to do. It's a pain. And they're never like, I feel like scanners and printers are just like
Wow.
like shittily made in general.
Yeah.
Like, they never seem to just work. And their interfaces are always awful. At least the ones I've used.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you got like a really high tier one, it would
Maybe
be
we'd have to get
different,
an Apple printer.
knowing our family,
Just
we
works.
probably have always had the cheapest possible printer and
course.
scanner. All right. Why is every thumbnail just your faces plastered onto the characters? Do you mostly dig through old photos to get these poses, or do you take them from scratch? They are all taken from Facebook. What I do is, because the aesthetic of this channel is that it's supposed to look like shit.
Yes.
I was not taking it seriously at all when I made it. I was just like, I'm just going to get like some goofy shit. It'll be this terrible show of us talking about over games and just have like these shitty, hilarious thumbnails
Yes.
and badly
Which I
edited
love.
art. So what I do is I'll find a picture on the internet that I want to use, preferably one where the faces are pretty big of the characters, and then I'll go to Facebook and I'll look up each of the people who are in the video, and just whatever picture I haven't used yet or that looks like it fits the scenario well, I choose a face from that. Sometimes there are some cases where it's actually all one photo, where I just took all of our, like the Halo 2 Let's Play where it's me and Josh's faces. That's actually both of us right after Victor's graduation the other day.
Yeah.
Like I just cropped our faces out of a picture that my mom took
Shit.
at the graduation and put it in there. So they're all Facebook photos. Which is part of the fun for me. The only person who makes it really difficult is Tolentino, because there's only like 3 pictures of himself
Yeah.
on Facebook.
That even exist.
Yeah. And they're all old as fuck, so they don't look like him anymore.
Yes. He always goes for like this cute moe face in his like Facebook pictures.
Well, he had like long hair in most of them,
Yeah.
and he doesn't anymore. He hasn't had long hair in like years.
Ow.
What would you like to see the Souls series do in the future? Ooh, that's an
stay
interesting
good.
question. Well, like thematically, like, because Bloodborne became like this Victorian dark
Yeah,
fantasy.
I would
which is
certainly
really
like to
cool.
see them not be a castle every time.
Yeah,
That's the one disappointing thing about there being like Dark Souls 3. And it's just like, oh, well,
Yeah.
it's still in the castle. We're gonna get really tired of the castle look.
yeah.
Fuck you,
I mean,
motherfucker.
I like that Bloodborne went for like this gothic and Lovecraftian like
Jesus
mix,
Christ,
where it basically goes from Van Helsing to Lovecraft over the course of the game.
Asshole.
I guess I'd like to see. So I like the way that they explored gothic like architecture and stuff.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing some like almost like who's gonna hate me for saying this, but like Burton-esque stuff.
Uh-huh.
But not like in the like cartoony way. No, better maybe like Neil Gaiman-esque stuff is more what I
Yeah.
mean. Like something more dream-like. Something that looks kind of like the Sandman,
Yeah.
in a Souls game. Maybe like some Yoshitaka Amano style artwork, like
Yeah.
just like something more trippy, and like I feel like Dark Souls and Demon Souls were very like Dungeons and Dragons, like castles, like old school feel,
That's what
fantasy.
inspired,
Right.
Dark Souls in the first place.
But I mean, there's a lot of like Call of Cthulhu influence in it as well, and I think like Dark Souls and Demon Souls both like got into that at times, and then like with Bloodborne, it's a lot more like artsy feeling, where it's more of like, oh, this like they used like a real existing architecture form, and they brought out these like gothic undertones and stuff. So what I'd like to see them do is to go more like full fantasy, and maybe have like more like Lord of the Rings looking type
I mean,
stuff.
there's a place in Bloodborne, the last level in the DLC is one of the most different looking places because it's kind of like another Blighttown place, but it's like a fishing village. And it's just like, whoa, like, this looks nothing like anything we've seen so far, but then it still has the same style. And it's like, wow, they can still do so many different things with this style that they haven't already done.
I wouldn't mind seeing some, like, some stuff that looks like Rivendell from the Lord of the Rings, like the elf place. You know, like some really high, like
some gorgeous shit.
Some, like, Final Fantasy IX looking shit. Like, if anybody knows that game. And, like, you know, make it more, like, wispy and ethereal and Yoshitaka Amano-esque. And, like, I'm sure they could and that they would be interested in going down that road, you know. There's a lot of, like, Vampire Hunter D looking and referencing stuff in Bloodborne. And I feel like they could go more down that, like, road.
It's falling on me. What are you doing?
Yeah, so that would be interesting.
Fuck.
Okay, here's one that I really wanted to answer. Out of 10, how would each of you rate your own body of work so far?
10 being like an actual legitimately good thing.
If compared to what you would give a 10 out of 10, what would you give your work?
That's tough because I feel like my work is better than like something that's bad.
Right. Well, I mean, consider 5 out of 10 to be like... Here's the way my rating system works. 6 out of 10 means I don't regret watching it, but it's not necessarily great.
Sure.
5 out of 10 means I probably wouldn't watch it again, you know?
Yeah.
Or I'd tell my old self to not have watched it.
I guess I'd give myself a 6.
I would give myself, in comparison to what I would consider a 10 out of 10 analysis channel, I would give myself a 9. I think that I could be doing better, and I know how I could be doing better.
Yeah.
And I think that if there were channels who... I think it would be very possible for someone to find the right mix and to do what I do better. Like, if every frame of painting was in... Well, he's gotten kind of slower, but, like...
Yeah.
Just someone who could do, like, better... Or, no, Nerd Writer was my example of someone who's, like, basically doing the same job that I do better, you know?
Yeah.
He gets out a video every week. They're all really tightly edited, you know, broad subject range. I don't know if I'd necessarily call him a 10 out of 10 channel, because I don't think he's done enough, like, bigger videos where, like, I consider part of the appeal of
God, I hate this part so much.
I consider part of the appeal of my channel to be that I do.
Happened? Why'd he stop?
Jesus Christ, Victor!
Hold on, dude! I'm fucking fighting a boss. What do you want me to do? How did he stop? This part is fucking insane. Dude, I played this first time on Master Quest, where everything does double damage and you don't get any hearts during the fight. It was very difficult. You have to shoot him, but there's got to be some way to make him stop so you can hit the ball. Like he had stopped a minute ago.
Right.
What stopped him?
You just gotta shoot the fucking ball, dude. Just fucking take aim and shoot him. You have no magic, so you're not light arrows.
Shit on my face.
Anyway, what I was fucking saying, I consider a big part of what makes my channel great that I do big videos, you know, that go really in depth. And I think Nerd Writer probably has it in him to do something like that, but he hasn't yet.
There it is.
I think if Nerd Writer started doing big videos the way I do, with the same level of polish that he does his small ones, and continue to do small ones at the same time the way that I do, then I think he could top me as doing the same kind of thing. As it stands, I'd actually rate him lower than me just because he hasn't had a true mind blow video yet. You know, the way like every frame has done, but every frame's a little too slow, and I feel like it's cool that I don't know. I think he needs to do more. It's just basically, you know, I consider the fact that I've done a lot of work to be a big part of what makes me like great. You know, that there's a lot of people who have done.
Just fucking hit it.
I think there's a lot of people who do like better editing and can do better like videos, but they only do a few, and then like Demolition D has done like a lot of really entertaining videos, but he's only done like a few great ones that really like make you stop and think, wow, that really taught me something, or I feel like I'm gonna watch this video again in the future. You know, if Nate made a video more than once every fucking couple of months, then he could probably compete too. What are the top things you want to improve on? Vic?
I want to have a real job. There's a long road for me. I can't just like fucking give a list of how I'm gonna improve.
Right.
Like there's a lot of fucking factors.
What do I want to improve on? I guess mostly I feel like I need to improve on like writing for video and editing. I don't know.
I guess I want to be more prolific and actually write shit, and then I'd be able to make more stuff and have more little shitty films on my resume, so I wouldn't feel so nervous about not getting into grad school.
I think I just want to generally, like, over time, I've put more and more... I think I've put a lot more effort into each individual video over the, like, you know, now than I did before. Where it used to be like I was always racing to get every video done. You know, like, it was like... I'd write it, and then I would like try to write it as fast as possible.
I'm pissed. I'm very pissed off.
Well, that's okay.
I'm frustrated and full of rage.
This boss is fucking hard, mad. Dude.
This is stupid. I have to hit him in the face to stop him.
Anyway, I've spent a lot more time on each of my videos at each step of production now than I used to, and I'd like to continue to do that and just have more patience with my writing, stay interested in it for longer, you know? Where like with these Asterisk War videos, like by the time I like fully have them sent to Devu, I'm usually pretty sick of them. Like, yeah. Because the problem I have with my videos is that, like, the more I keep hearing myself say the same thing through the editing process, the less confidence I get that I'm actually saying something interesting or new. Yes. You know, like, because I've already thought about it, I've already written it, I've already acted it a few times and edited it, and then by the time it's in the video stage, I'm like, this isn't even good. And then, like, it's not until it's done and it's out and people start reacting to it that I remember that it was good, you know? Yeah. Like with part 5 of Asterisk War, which came out today, like, by the time I had sent it to Devu, I was just kind of like, does this make a point, or is this just, like, is this going to be boring? Are people going to be bored of this by now? And then, like, I saw the comments and people were like, this is great, you should do this forever. And I was like, all right, I guess it is great, you know? I guess I was happy with it back when I wrote it, so... but I'm glad that I get to hand those off to Devu at the moment when, you know, like, if I had to edit all of these parts, I would have gotten sick of it around part 4 and probably never finished it. Yeah. You know? But I want to have more patience with my videos and more confidence in them and spend more time on them and just generally learn how to make shit that looks good. I just think I have a very poor eye for, like, basic design elements and stuff, you know? Terrible with colors and
You're bad at graphic design and things like that.
I'm terrible at graphics. And alternatively... hire more people. Like, if I made enough money, I'd like to just hire more of a team, you know? Yeah. I'd love to, like, you know, Devu has expressed interest that if I could pay him enough, he'd just drop his own channel and edit for me full time if I could pay him, like, more than he could, you know, reasonably make on his channel. So if I could pay Devu enough, I'd just hire him to edit everything, probably. I'd hire fucking Ben to do lots of graphic art for me and stuff like that, you know? So... if I make more money, then rather than improving on how I make my videos, I'll improve on having a team to make the videos have a better product, you know? I think I've learned little bits and pieces from you, from how you've been working with a team and hearing about it and, like, sort of realizing that, like, yeah, other people can have their place, you know? I can be a director of my channel, sort of.
Yeah.
Okay, last Devu question.
Yeah.
If President Trump would force YouTube to fix their copyright enforcement policies, force Japan to abolish kanji, and convince Coheed and Cambria to make good music again, would you consider voting for him?
Nah. I'd want to hear the Coheed and Cambria album first.
I never wanted to be this me. I guess I'd say that depends on how he intends to go about all of those things. Like, yeah, if as long as this isn't like a devil's like ploy thing where,
I assure you it is.
Like I have to kill 200 African children in order to make it happen or something,
God, motherfucking bitch, I hate this shit.
All right. Oh shit.
The
Jesus
fuck
Christ.
did you do?
I
Did you
knocked
spill
over
something?
Stuff. No, nothing spilled.
Okay.
Well, I mean, there might be some rice in some places, but it's okay.
No.
All right.
God damn it! I want to die. This
guy
is the worst fucking.
This guy
boss.
asked questions in response to Devu. I can't. I'm assuming he's asking them for us and not to the Devu. Kennick Kress asked, favorite mood to get from a story.
For
me, it
inspired?
would. Yeah, inspired. I was gonna say that's by far.
Hajime no Ippo, whatever mood
Bakuman.
that is. The Bakuman mood. Yes.
The Bakuman mood.
Where you want to fucking make.
If I finish something, the best feeling I can get is when I finish something and my thought isn't I want to make something just like that, because I do get that sometimes,
Yes.
which is
I want to make my
fine.
masterpiece.
When it's like I need to make my entire career better and I need to become a better creator and all I want to do is make things for the rest of my life. Like that's how Bakuman. If you haven't seen, if you're a creative person, you owe it to yourself to read Bakuman, because it will make you. It will make you want to do nothing but make creative work forever. Like, I mean, you might already feel that way.
It'll make you feel like you were not productive enough and that you were a bitch.
Yeah.
And you need to get to work and you need to only think about working.
Yeah, it definitely makes you want to put your nose to the grindstone.
And you need to find a rival.
Yeah. It just kind of... that's what I love about, like, shonen, is that feeling of, like, there's no ceiling. You're just never gonna be perfect. You have to always be getting... Like, because Bakuman takes place over, like, 10 years. And the mindset is always just, we have to improve. Like, it's always, we're not good enough yet. We have to get better because we haven't made it to our goal yet, And their goal was something that would take that much effort, just setting the bar as high as humanly possible and then spending forever trying to work towards it. And I think it's a great story for inspiring that. Speed Racer gives me a lot of those feels, although that one's a little different. It's more of just like a euphoric feeling. God, what other than Bakuman did I talk about that gave me the same feeling as Bakuman? Shirobako. That's another great one for just like, like it's all worth it in the end,
That for me. Where I just get so fucking pumped.
What range of emotions would you feel is best for short, middling, and long stories? It seems like people love short stories that are really sad and melodramatic, and I don't.
Well, with a short story to make it memorable, you have to have kind of that fast emotional impact, and so that's what people like about it.
Like, historically, I've always seen, like, this is especially true with, like, manga and stuff, where there'll be a lot of, like, one volume or one chapter manga that are, like, really highly rated because they've got, like, a great emotional gut punch, they've got a great twist and stuff, but, like, for me, those kind of stories are never memorable because, like, I need to really feel invested in the world and characters,
Because with a short story, you should be going for a very concise theme, and there should be a really specific point to it, and I feel like Inio Asano's Solanine was a great short story to me, because it's just, like, the characters are great, you get invested really fast, and then it, like, builds up to a climax, and it ends, and it was just perfect. It was like a movie, like... And it was a story that worked within that length for what it was trying to do, and it had a very specific point and a very specific feeling that it wanted to evoke, and it does it great.
I think short is a great length for aesthetic pieces, art house pieces, and comedy stuff.
Yeah.
Where, like, you can make something funny in a really short amount of time, which is why internet animations work, why everything on YouTube practically that's funny is... usually short and to the point, and it's really memorable, and you can pack a lot of impact in there.
More laughs than an entire Adam Sandler movie in one vine.
I think I think short is great for just like, like I watch a lot of like short experimental anime where it'll just be like they just fucked around for a little while, made something kind of interesting. You didn't have to sit through a whole movie of it, Mid-length, which I guess would be like films and stuff, whatever you can get away with in that time frame. But again, I'm just a bigger fan of long form storytelling. I just like to be deeply invested. And I guess the best for long form would be something extremely complicated, where you have a whole world you're trying to create,
an incredibly complex story that takes time.
Well, like something with a lot of characters and something where you can
Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah,
is the best long form.
Well, Hunter x Hunter is almost like a bunch of shorter long form story. Like it feels less like 148 episode story and more like.
But it all comes together as the story of Gon and Killua, and so
right. I mean,
I feel like that was the necessary length to make you give a shit.
I think Hunter x Hunter,
I don't think the Chimera Ant arc would have the same impact if it weren't for the rest of the show leading up to it.
Yeah, but I think that
No, what the fuck? No! Why did I have that on my?
I think that the part of the story that is told in long form is a smaller story than, like, let's say Legend of the Galactic Heroes is 110 episodes and it's always about everything in it.
Yes.
Like every character is always relevant. It's always this big story. Whereas like Hunter x Hunter's like there'll be a 26 episode arc where half the characters aren't even around, If 60 to 80% of the world's populace had superpowers, would you rather have? That's all it says.
Cool.
Yes?
Please ask me again. Right. You can see its reflection in the fucking pond. Yippee!
Ancient
You're so creative,
Chinese secret!
Now I'm just gonna hold up a bottle of water like a jackass. I want to just give up on living now.
If you die again, we're starting a new episode, just so you know.
I'm not gonna die again because I'm the best at the Wind Waker, and I have all these hearts from these shitty bats. I'm getting mad. It's really hot.
It's not that hot. You're just getting mad.
I'm also sweating my ass off.
I think your anger is a large part of why you're.
And so I can feel my beard, and it hurts.
Oh yeah, to answer this question that came up a lot, and I meant to answer this at the beginning.
To, wipe my pits.
I did intentionally release all those Halo 2 Let's Plays on the same day. Look in the comments for part 5, and you'll see I explained why. I just didn't feel like explaining it, because a lot of people asked, and I was like, I don't want to respond to all these. Oh, Jesus.
It's gotta be like a fucking weapon that works.
I know there was another guy who asked like a long chain of questions. I'm just trying to find him.
Come on, motherfucker.
You should, here we go. Found it.
Waiting for him to come right at me, man. Come at me, bro.
Okay, unlimited question works. Hopefully you can answer most easily.
Ah!
Do you think that literature is dead because only hipsters actually read? I only read light novels, is what he said. Do you think literature is dead?
Light novel might be killing literature.
I
think people read, they just might not read physical books anymore,
I think first of all, I think a lot of people still read physical books. Barnes and Noble is still in business.
Exactly.
There's still always people in there.
I think people underestimate how much people actually
I think a lot of the people who read aren't necessarily on the internet or on YouTube because they're reading.
Exactly.
They're not watching YouTube videos. They're reading books. I feel
like a lot of adults
a lot of people listen to audiobooks now, and I think a lot of the people who used to read now listen to audiobooks.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I follow enough, like, people, like educated people on YouTube who like, have turned to audiobooks as, like, now it's all they do is listen to audiobooks all the time, So I feel like that's probably a big deal. And literature can survive through that. I think that, I don't know, man. I don't think literature can just be killed, but
yeah.
And I also think that part of the problem, with why literature isn't as like big now is I think I mean, I don't even know if that's really true. It could be bigger now than it ever was.
I know.
But I think it's hard for people to get into literature because it's harder to tell what's good. Because, like, whenever I try to... Because I've had plenty of times I've tried to get into literature in a bigger way. And I'll go on, like whenever I want to get into a new medium... My first instinct is go on 4chan and go to the board dedicated to that medium and find their top lists. Like, find what they consider to be the best stuff. And I've gone on the lit board, and it's always, like, the same shit that you've heard of that you probably either read in school or you heard about, like, it's a classic author who everybody knows. I don't see, like, a lot of modern shit in there. There's never, like, something from the last 5 years that is considered... like, a must-read.
Yes. I think an aspect of it is that media consumption is also largely social, and so it's like, if you don't have, like, friends who are reading and recommending you stuff, and, like, you can't go and start up a conversation with someone about books because not enough people are reading those books.
Well, that's why I would go on Lit.
You can talk about music, and there's things to relate to. You can talk about American television. Like, having seen Game of Thrones is the easiest conversation starter.
Here's where you're sort of going with that. I think that's why serialized media is getting a lot more popular.
Yes.
Because it's a lot easier to water cooler. Because you all know when it comes out. Game of Thrones, an episode comes out, and, everybody knows when the season starts. Everybody knows it airs on Sunday at 10, and, everybody will be ready for it when the new episode starts, and and it keeps growing more and more audience as it goes. Whereas with a book, it just comes out, and, like, if you read it and no one else has read it, then you can't talk about it until they read it, and then it's just the one conversation, Sort of the same with movies, where, like, we all saw The Force Awakens. We all talked about it once, and now it's
movies
done.
Are the easiest thing for everyone to have known.
It's because there's a hype machine for movies, where, like, a new movie comes out, everyone hears about it, right? So, like, the only way a book seems to become hyped is after a lot of people read it and it gets out there.
Or you watch The Daily Show and they talk about a book, like, every episode, and so you learn about books.
And, books get a lot more talked about on TV than they do on the internet, I think. Like, there's the only person I know of who does book analysis of any modern books is Cloud Cuckoo Country, and he's always had trouble finding a viewership because no one gives a fuck about books on YouTube. It's just, it's like, it's too non-visual of a medium for people to talk about it on the visual medium of YouTube, and so it's difficult to find an audience there, whereas... you might find it more on TV or in
books
magazines. Books
obviously aren't dead if, fucking Twilight's huge. You've got 50 Shades of Grey becoming a huge phenomenon. But there's always some book that gets big,
right.
you know?
I would say something like The Maze Runner more recently.
I don't know.
Like,
whatever was huge,
What's that new just climb on top of it. You can climb on top of it.
I just tried. It wasn't going up.
Really? It was working before when you were in the
Look, he doesn't want to go.
Fireplace. Well, all right.
You just can't do it here. Let me put on my leaf.
Doesn't look like you can make it up there.
Yeah, it doesn't, but I'm gonna give it a whirl.
Oh, jeez, this feels wrong. Yeah, I guess books are still alive. We are just not the people to ask about what books are good. I mean, my dad reads every day.
Yeah, he reads all kinds of books.
Although he doesn't read literature, he reads nonfiction, like, exclusively.
But he's not a millennial.
Well, I don't know if that counts as... Does that count as literature? Does nonfiction count as literature?
Yeah. Isn't that, like, any books?
I don't know. Maybe. It might be. That's... Yeah. Yeah.
You're throwing me off of it with that one.
Because novels are not considered nonfiction. Because I looked this up because I kept wanting to say that I was writing an analytical novel, but then I looked up novel and it specifically says fiction in the definition. So I wasn't sure if the same applies to literature. And if you go to the literature section at the bookstore, it will be all fiction.
That's true.
So I don't know.
Man, I don't know.
Anyway.
Fuck it.
If your family had a reality show, who would be the bad guy in the show? Probably me. Would I be the bad guy if our family?
I was thinking maybe like Uncle Johnny or something.
It depends on who's the main character.
Is there really a bad guy in a reality show?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, wait, we're talking about reality show, not sitcom. So
yeah.
So yeah, well, I guess it just depends on who they frame that. Reality shows are all in the editing, so like
exactly
whoever comes off as the biggest asshole.
I guess you would be the easiest to edit.
You know what?
As an asshole.
No, I think it would just be everyone. I think we'd all be the bad guy. Because if you watch a reality show, everyone's the asshole. No one's ever the hero. They're all assholes.
True.
That's kind of like what makes it a reality show. Now, if it was a family sitcom, then like, yeah, Uncle Johnny would definitely be like the guy who shows up and is like the bad dude, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think everyone's the bad guy on a reality show. What do you think about visual novels? Boring. You have to read. You know, okay, here's why visual novels bother me so much. Because, like, I don't read much anyways, and, you know, like, I don't read a lot because it's hard to get, like, comfortable with a book. It's hard to, like, get into the mindset to read. I can't stand, like, having no sound, so I always try to listen to music while I read, but then it's hard to figure out, like, what music goes well with the book, you know? Like, how am I supposed to soundtrack something that I don't know what it is?
True.
So...
Oh, shit, here we go, the epic climax.
So all of that makes it weird. And when you have a visual novel, then it's like you have to listen to the music that they... Oh, God, this face. And the music's always corny as fuck in those visual novels.
That's Link's epic climax face.
And you have to, like, look at... Like, you can't be distracted, and you can't, like, put it down and just do other shit at the same time like I would with the book. Like, most of the reading I do is while I'm taking a shit. And you can't read a visual novel while you're taking a shit. I guess you can on your phone or something, but...
This scene is so fucking cool, man.
This scene is very fucking cool. It's very filmic.
The whole fucking last, like, dungeon here has just been fucking awesome looking.
This particular place, though, the way the sky
That's why
looks.
this is my favorite Ganondorf, because he's so just, like,
Stop
cool.
hitting your fucking mic.
I can't! The cords are all over me and my butt's hot. Ah! I hate this.
I'll say your butt's hot.
Everything's sticking to me. This fucking leather couch, man.
You probably sound terrible because your mic.
I probably do. I probably sound
bad
the whole time. I was running through the six with my woes.
Anyway, Digi, have you ever finished a Shin Megami Tensei game to completion? No. The farthest I've gotten in one is like 10 hours into Persona 3, so not even close. Do you think 12-year-olds killed memes?
Probably.
I think memes killed memes.
I feel like the news kills
Are
memes.
memes dead? The news does... the moment I am officially sick of a meme is when I've heard it on the daytime news.
Yeah.
That's usually the point where I'm like, Jesus Christ.
That's where it dies.
Yeah, I'd say that's where it crosses the threshold.
Fucking lame. When you see Grumpy Cat's fucking special on the news.
When like, Al Roker uses a meme, you know it's a dead meme.
It's done. It's been around too long.
All right. What do your parents think about your jobs, hobbies, or interests, both now and in the past?
Supportive.
Yeah, I guess they don't really like know much about our jobs, hobbies, and interests. They definitely try. My dad tries very hard to take an interest, but it's hard to like explain the shit we do, especially Victor. Like, Victor hates trying to explain his job to our parents at all.
They don't really ever ask me about, like, my job specifically. They'll ask what I did, and I'm like, oh, I shot a commercial, but they don't ask, like, what I did shooting the commercial. You know?
I think it's because they don't want to have to ask you questions and deal with your personality when you get asked a question. Yeah, like, my dad is very interested in my work in particular because it's something so new and like so interesting to him that it's a possibility for someone to do this job. He talks about it to his coworkers all the time. He'll always show people my videos, and the worst part is that he'll like try to get people in contact with me and stuff, and I'm just like, I do this job so I don't have to talk to people I don't know, you know, like, but yeah, it's funny and interesting. But I as for our hobbies and interests, I think they probably found anime pretty weird for a little while when we were younger, but they kind of just got used to the fact that we're into it, and they don't question it at all. Neither one of them is even remotely interested in anime, in spite of, which is like, I find that so weird, because me, you, and Shade are all so into it.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's weird that they can manage to be so surrounded by anime and anime fans and people talking about it and being interested in it and take no interest.
It's pretty amazing.
Like when you guys were all into like working out and I wasn't working out, I at least got interested in working out. Like I would ask you guys about your diets and stuff. I'd hear about this shit. I'd learn about it. Like I retain it, you know, like, cause it's just, well, everyone I know is into it. I might as well learn something. Or fighting games, you know, I've learned a lot about fighting games from Brandon. I've learned a lot about cars from Donson and Mike and Boyd all being into them. But like, our parents have taken zero interest in anime whatsoever.
I haven't really got interested in video games either, beyond like mom being into the N64.
Right.
So I always forget.
Like, they have zero interest in games, zero interest in anime. Well, my dad's always said the reason that he doesn't get into games is because he thinks he'll get addicted to them. Like, he's consciously not getting into games. Because apparently when
maybe
he was...
that's how it was a long time ago. But.
Well... No, he tells me that still. Like, I ask him about it all the time. I'm always like, you know, you'd be great at games. And he's like, he said, I'm not going to get into them because I'll get addicted to them and I'll never stop playing them and it'll ruin my life. And then he said, but once VR becomes a thing, he said, if we can make it so we're fully immersed in a virtual world, then I'll get into video games.
Yeah.
You know, he's like really interested in VR technology and where that's going. But because he likes as he put it, he likes things that are physical and simple. He's like, everything I do is like, you know, I ride bikes, I skateboard, I do things that are like physical. And he's like, if video games were more physical and I felt more in control, then I'd play them.
Damn,
you know?
bitch slapped.
But apparently there was a period of time, and he can't remember what game it was, but when I was a baby, and you might have been alive, but he had a friend who had some game on like the NES, and apparently they played the fuck out of it for like days at a time, and like my mom was pissed off about it, and like he realized that games are too addicting and he stopped playing them. So yeah, I think he's consciously trying not to get into games, but the lack of interest in anime from both of them is just like weird. It's just like, I've never found a show that I can show my mom and she won't get bored within the first episode. It's never happened.
It's just like her with music. She just can't register the new things.
But at least she is into music, just not a lot of different kinds of it. You know, she only likes rock music.
Well, she's into TV shows, but not anime.
It's just bizarre. I can't believe there's not a single one I've been able to get either of them into in fucking 15 years.
I'm gonna die.
So I'm really enjoying Shadow of the Colossus and Ico at the moment. Have either of you played these games?
We played Shadow of the Colossus together a long ass time ago.
Yeah, we actually alternated between bosses.
And we beat it once and like never beat it again.
No, we beat it twice. I've beaten it twice.
Really?
I am absolutely certain I've beaten it twice within a year of each other. Like back in 06.
Yay, she's back. Zelda, get your shit together. Getting my ass kicked by Ganondorf. I have 2 fucking hearts, you motherfucker.
Speaking of demo, when are you two gonna fuck? I don't know, man. Whenever he calls me to bed.
Okay.
I have demo Skype, and I've talked to him a couple times. I just like, he's not an easy person to like approach.
Oh, shit, he blocked me in the back like a motherfucker.
I don't think Demo is interested in having like long, detailed conversations about shit. He's more of like a laid back sort of like a, like, you know, he has like his analytical points about anime and stuff, but I honestly don't think he thinks that hard about shows. I think he makes his videos, and they're very like instinctual. It's like how he felt watching it, not so much like that they're analytical or anything, you know. Because there's a lot of the times.
Shit! Oh, I had to reflect on that. Was badass.
He actually has like a lot of videos that I think are just totally wrong-headed, and that he didn't think about what he said that hard, you know. For instance, like his Kill La Kill review, which is fucking terrible, where he like rags on the show for a bunch of reasons that I think are complete bullshit.
Yeah. I got healed. Yeah, I had a fairy.
And yeah, I don't know. Like the type of conversations I have with my friends are very like long-winded, you know, like argumentative things. Like me and the Horseshoe Crew are very like comedic about it, and we argue and we're all like just fucking ragging on each other and shit. But like we do get into long fucking winded arguments and stuff. And I don't think Demo's the type to do that. He's more of like a chill out and play video games type guy, you know. And I don't know.
You think I'm fucking retarded, Zelda? I'm fucking trying, okay?
I also,
line up your fucking hits right.
I kind of like
fucking Christ.
I've said this before, but I kind of have all the friends that I want, you know, and I have enough people to talk to that like I don't feel like I'm going out of my way to like make friends with guys like Demo unless we had something that we connected over, you know.
Yes.
And again, he's a hard to approach guy, so because I've been in like several calls with him and several chats with him. He usually leaves a chat room.
Yes.
Oh!
Fucking rad as shit.
Enough about the shit I was talking about.
The sword
Look at this dude.
is in the stone, bitch. No one gives a fuck about Demo. That's boring
Give
topics.
a fuck what you heard. Yeah, fuck what you heard. For that real shit, kick your whole clique to the curb. What?
Fuck yeah. Look at him. Look at him smiling with the sword in his fucking head.
I'm not fit to the death that grip. My steez is balling out. I control what you heard about company. Hustle bones coming out my mouth.
Hustle bones coming out my...
Coming out my mouth.
I was hoping you'd keep going with that so I could do that. And then we'd be doing a duet.
But what were we gonna? How? I don't know any of the lyrics other than that part I did.
And then you were gonna do the hustle bones.
Oh.
But now here's the fat guy. It's the king. Yay. Why don't you do this yourself, you fucking loser, if you could just come out as this buff-ass dude. Fucking weak.
Let's do another duet. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
No.
I've come to talk
What's
with you
wrong
again.
with you? We just won the game. It's not a win the game song.
I just thought it would be funny to suggest that. All right, what's a win the game song?
I don't
know. We are the champion, my friend.
I'm tired.
I am too. Well,
we beat the Wind Waker.
We're at the end of the Wind Waker.
We summed it up with some shitty Q&A.
Yeah. Well, that's what most of the series was.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed.
The last episode's always pretty underwhelming, and
well, except for in Twilight Princess, where we had like that really. Well, I guess the last episode was underwhelming of that, but I don't know. You know, whatever. We finished another playthrough.
It will be your land.
We're you know, on the like really pretty last cutscenes. I'm just glad they spent like they really made these last cutscenes like feel
now I can
like
breathe
a great
underwater.
ending, you know.
Cool. No, Zelda.
Like I think the last cutscenes of this game are more interesting than anything that came before.
They definitely make the game like feel like an awesome Pixar movie legend.
Both like narratively and visually, they are the most interesting parts.
They're real
of the game.
fucking cool.
I need to turn down the brightness on this TV because it has been searing my eyeballs the whole time we've been playing.
I thought it looked pretty.
It looks pretty, but it's bright as fuck.
I like bright. Light bright.
Well, it's a dark room, and I'm not used to bright lights.
It's a pretty game.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Good fight.
I hope you enjoyed the Q&A, guys. I hope it wasn't annoying. I mean, there were some people who kind of complained about it, but I feel like it wasn't any different from how it would have been if we had just thought of our own topics.
Probably.
You know?
I don't know.
I mean, the whole show is we come up with a topic, we discuss it at length. Yeah. I even think the questions got us to do a lot more like out of you, where like when we do topics, a lot of the times just one of us explains something for 5 years, and then the other guy goes, "Yep," you know. Whereas with the questions, we both were able to answer most of them.
Some of the questions were good.
I don't mind doing a Q&A in the future. I just you know. We did a lot of it. We'll try to do as much normal show as we can once we start Bloodborne. We'll probably talk a lot about the game because it's a Souls game, and
I guess
you know, as I've said before, each different type of game brings out a different side of us. When we do Zelda games, we tend to pay very little attention to the game and mostly talk about other things. When we play Dark Souls,
I won't pay attention to Bloodborne at all.
When we play Souls games, we tend to pay a lot of attention to the game and talk a lot about the game.
I guess in Dark Souls, we really did talk a lot about Dark Souls for a long time.
We talked a lot about Dark Souls. Zelda, we almost never addressed the game in any of them.
True.
like except for at the very beginning. And in it, we kind of, with this one, we had already said so much of our piece on Zelda that like
we said too much about Zelda.
Yeah, so we probably won't play another Zelda game for a while.
There's not another one I'd like to play that much.
Yeah, I think Skyward Sword would be a pain in the ass.
That would be a fucking pain.
And I mean, if you wanted to play one of the old school Zeldas, I'd buy them on the virtual console, but I don't know if you want to play those. So yeah, it might be the last Zelda for a while. We'll get into Bloodborne, get into Sword Online, and then if Victor still lives here, then maybe some.
I'm sure I will. I don't think I'm going anywhere anytime soon.
Really? You don't think so?
I won't know if I get into school until March, at least.
Right.
So
how long do you think it'll take us to play Bloodborne and fucking Sword Art Online?
Not that fucking long.
It took us like 2 months to play this game.
Oh. Maybe it'll take a little while. It doesn't feel like it's been... Look, the last few months have been really, really fast for me.
They've been fast for everybody, dude. November was a fucking
weird.
blink to me.
And now December's like over, and I'm like, what did I do? Where did the time go? I played Xenoblade all month, and like, what happened?
All I've done for November and December is like make Astro Score videos
way too
and
fast.
shit around.
December was just a waste.
I played a lot of video games.
I gotta get my shit together in the spring.
Yeah, 2016 is gonna be interesting. I'm gonna change things up a little bit. I think I'm gonna play a lot more video games next year, and possibly make some more video game related videos on my main channel.
I need to write some shit.
Probably going to change like spice up the way I do things a little bit.
Should put out I should find someone to do an animatic of Dipshit, the 1-page script I wrote.
Oh,
you remember that?
Dude, post that online. Great. Post that. I wanted to show that to the Horseshoe Crew. That was
surprisingly funny as fuck every time I read it.
I really want to show it to the Horseshoe Crew.
I want to at least make an animatic of it.
Let me share it around.
I want Nate to do the voice of the narrator, maybe.
That would be great.
Yeah. Someone could do the
Although
cow. Maybe Ben could be the cow.
He's really like mushy mouthed when he reads scripts.
That's true. It'd have to have perfect punctuation.
I think you would do. I read it in your voice as the narrator.
Yeah, but I have shitty punctuation. I have
you wrote it like, look at this piece of shit. Like, you could easily do that.
Yeah. I want to be very clear.
Anyway, we're talking about something nobody has any idea what we're talking about. So
it's a funny story I wrote.
About that. Yeah.
I might do a couple more.
I'm looking forward to Bloodborne. What I want Bloodborne to be is you teach me why you like Bloodborne so much. Because Victor and Shade both think that Bloodborne is their favorite game of all time. And as you all know, Dark Souls is my favorite. And I am not convinced that I like Bloodborne as much as Dark Souls.
That's because Connor doesn't play Souls games.
Well, I haven't... Like, I've played Bloodborne.
Yeah, but...
I've played Souls, Dark Souls. Like, I want to be convinced that it's like as interesting. And I watched the Game Grumps play through it, but I didn't necessarily like watch them play it, And I also think it was ruined by that fucking orange border they put around the screen. So
I'm sure. Oh god.
So like I really want to see
Maybe that's why you thought everything looked the same.
I really want to see it like up close and impersonal with somebody who knows how to play it well. Well, I don't even know if you're as good as Aaron. He's pretty fucking good at it, but
dude, I suck.
Yeah, get ready for that. Get ready for lots of death. We're going to return to a series where not every episode is necessarily going to make progress.
At least I just beat it, so I'm ready to get back into it before I lose all my skills.
Yeah.
And the DLC made me, twice as good as I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I want to play it right now.
Well,
I don't think we have anything to talk about.
We have stuff we could talk about.
We should get Trevor.
Yeah, I kind of just want to do a game with Trevor, though. I don't want to have him in Bloodborne, because he won't be there for much of it.
I want to play Bloodborne.
Trevor's only going to be here for like a week.
Who cares? He could just be in a few episodes.
At the very beginning, where we're mostly talking about the game, and...
I don't know. He has opinions on the game.
That's right, he did beat it.
Yeah, he's beat the game.
Maybe. I want to hear how this sounds first, and I also am tired and my eyes hurt a lot. So.
My butt is sweaty.
These credits sure last a while.
Yeah.
It's scrolling quite slow. Oh. This is one of my favorite songs. We never talked about the soundtrack in this game at all. Phenomenal soundtrack.
The soundtrack is wonderful.
One of my top 5 favorite game soundtracks, probably. Top 10 at least. one of the few I've listened to outside of the game itself.
Really, like, everything in the game, like, the visuals and the soundtrack all come together to give it, like, this Disney magic that...
Yeah, it's a real shame that we didn't have the audio.
It's the most whimsical, most magical Zelda game, and that's what I love about it. And it's like, that's why it's so hard to not be like, I wish it were my favorite one. Like, I wish it had the same scale as, like, Twilight Princess to make it, like, that much meatier to have the full experience. I want them to make another game in the same style. I hope the new Zelda game has that sort of atmosphere to it.
Dude, the new, like, the idea of the way they've shown, like, the open world or whatever that they're going to do with it, I'm like, Zelda, like, I feel like they're going to nail it.
I hope they do. Like, they could definitely nail it.
I feel like, from what little I've seen of those little teaser shorts, I'm like, this looks like what I want it to be, you know?
Certainly.
So I hope they nail
I want to be Link with the big-ass sword. That looks cool.
I just hope there's not a skill tree. I just hope there's not a fucking 3 to 5 hour intro section of the game.
There will be. I assure you.
I don't know, man. People have ragged on both the last 2 games for that shit.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's supposed to be like you're supposed to be able to do all the dungeons in whatever order you want and stuff like that.
I just hope that they try to put distance from Skyward Sword. Like, I know that Skyward Sword mostly got good reviews and stuff, but I hope they try to distance themselves from Skyward Sword.
I think the story might be treated in a similar way.
I felt like A Link Between Worlds was very much them trying to get back to, like, the roots of the series and try to make it feel more classic and, like, say, okay, you know, we know you guys have gotten sick of us fucking around with Zelda on handhelds. We're just gonna make a regular Zelda game.
Yeah.
You know, we'll still put interesting twists on it, but it's gonna feel like the old days, you know, and, like, I kind of hope they do something similar with the next one, where, like, even though they're putting this spin on it where it's like it's open world, it's gonna be big, I hope that they try to make it feel more adventurous and open, and
I feel like it's gonna turn out that it's actually just like an HD scale version of the first game.
That would be awesome.
It is just the first Zelda game again.
Super down for that.
Because I remember them saying pretty early on that it was supposed to be like you could do the dungeons in whatever order like the first game.
Yeah.
Unless that was for the DS game. I think you're thinking
of Link Between Worlds, because that's definitely true of that game.
Yeah. Well, we beat it.
Alright, everybody. Next time on Digi Bros.
See ya.
Bibbidi pip pop, bibbidi bang.